Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful drawing workshop. Today we would like to work on this beautiful dog face, and same as last time we work on this beautiful cat, and now I'm going to start drawing that one. So it's similar technique, and we can do work with pencil or with Micron paint, or with both. It's okay with any material that you have around you. You can start do this drawing actually. I prefer, because Micron pen is so dark and it's more visible on camera, so I prefer to finish with Micron pen, but it's not mandatory. You can work with pencil as well. So let me just talk a little bit about the material that we are going to use. First of all, I'm going to use pencil. I just talk about the pencil that we have. This is a Staedtler brand, but any brand you have would be okay. But just need to know about the numbers that we have. It's I'm going to use 2H and 2B. So the H series is the graphite is harder and a little lighter. So the others, like in numbers B, like 2B, 3B, 4B and more, the graphite is so softer, and when the number grows is get darker. So we can use for the starting drawing with the 2H, or we can do with 2B. And HB is in between, so it's half dark, half light. But even if you have just one pencil, with your hand pressure, you can control the lightness or darkness. If you take your pencil, draw very light and loose, your line get lighter. If you take your pencil and draw very dark line, it get darker. So we can control with the how much hard and how much light we add our hand on a paper and make this beautiful light and dark. This is about the pencil, and we need eraser as well. If you want to work with Micron pen, you need to know there is no erasing on this one. So we need perfectly make sure about the drawing that we have. I recommend to do drawing with pencil, and even if you want to make with to finish it with Micron pen, after finish your drawing, then you can switch to Micron pen. And I prefer to go with two different number, like one bigger, one smaller. For the smaller, we can go with number 2 or 3, which is the tip of the pen is so narrow and liney. And we can go for some part like this darkness, eyes and the nose. We can go with a little bit bigger size, like 8, 5, 6, and any of them that you have, it's fine. But a little bit bigger, from 5 to 8. And I just go with black, but you can go with the colorful Micron pen too. The other thing is about the paper that we have. This is a mixed media paper, and the reason I go with mixed media paper, because I would like to mix pencil with Micron pen. So if you just go with one of them, you can choose just the drawing pencil, which is good for drawing paper, which is good for pencil. But we can mix different kind of pencil on mixed media paper, or even we can add some colors on top, like watercolor or something like that. For today we are just going on this black and white. But my mixed media paper is good for acrylic, for watercolor, pen and pencil, colorful pencil and everything. So these are about the material. Let me jump to start our drawing. Okay, as I mentioned, I prefer to start drawing with pencil. We can finish it with pencil, or if you want to move on with Micron pen, I prefer to have my drawing on a paper. So this face of dog is in an angle. Here is the line on top of the head, and the angle is like that. So we can have the same angle. We can draw one line to have an idea about the angle. So that line should be completely light, because we erase that later. But the angle of the face is like that. So I add one line, 1 point here and 1 point here. Try to connect these two lines together, And a little bit, you see 1 bump, 2 bump, and 3 bump. I try to make this bump a little bit look like the top of dog head, something like that. And these two sides is the place of ears. Now, if you see the angle of the face is like this, come toward the little bit close together, and then it's finished for the bottom of mouth. But I would like to measure something like that in the same angle of head. Try to follow the same line here. So I just go with one line like that to mention that this is the length of my dog face. And then with 2 narrow lines, we can figure out that we're supposed to be place the rest. So this is the top of the head, this is the bottom of the, like this line of the mouth. I can start from the bottom of mouth and start, because it's more close together, it's easier to start with this part, and draw one dark line, connect here. I just shape the mouth, and for the other side exactly this is another line. But if you see this line come out and go inside, so I can follow the same, just a straight line. If you want to shape it more curvy, more look like the real part of the dog face, we can do later. So just have an idea about the whole drawing with a simple line, and then we can do it easily, more details. So this is the bottom of the face, and I try to connect it to the ear. So if we add any mistake, we can just erase it easily. But I recommend always draw very light and loose, because the line is not easy to clean it and erase it after it's really dark. When you are make sure about your line, it's better to make it dark. So just follow exactly like this part of the mouth, and then we finish with the face. I want to place the ears on both sides and then move on the features. So the big shape modeling of the ear is like this, and a little curvy on the bottom part. So I start from this part, start connected to the face, to the head, and from the other side as well. Then very nicely curved line, I try to connect these 2 lines together. This is a simple shape. Then we can come on top and make a little bit shape and movement on the ear. Come up a little bit and then connect it to the head. Then erase the line that you don't need anymore. I recommend it's easier to go with the light line and then make it dark. I have to make dark because I want to be visible for you. And then this really dark part on top. I'm not going to details now, we'll do it later. Now about the other shape, it's like a big triangle shape on one side of the face. So I try to follow this big triangle shape like that, like this. This is a simple shape. Now I'm back and make it a little accurate. Come up, come inside, a little bumpy, and then get rid of the straight line here and erase the line. I don't need it anymore. And then from the other side, come in out a little, inside out, make it nice and C-curve. Now it's time to erase the line, you don't need it anymore, and make your drawing more close to the model that we are doing. Okay, this is about the ears. The detail of this lining will come on top later. Now the whole body, and after that we move on to the features of the face. So the whole body is not completely visible, it's just fade to the paper, but I can see this part of the body, like hand, the side, and the chest is separate with the nice white color on the center, like this. And I add the shadow later, and then this part again fade to the background. So this is the body. Now I'm going to add the features. So we already have this line to find the angle of the face. So if I want to place the eyes and then the nose, I can divide into 1/3 for the eye, 1/3 for the nose. So I do the same. We can draw one line on the top of the eye and one line on top of the nose. So this part is a place of eyes, and this part is a place of nose. And about the place of here, I just divide it into 3 parts, and it's really light and loose. I don't want to be visible because I am erased this line. And now I have an idea about the place of my eyes. This is one eye. Make it nice and C-curve, and then place the circle inside that. Then we'll do dark later a little bit. Just so far I'm going to separate the shape, and then make the light inside the eye be visible, the shining. And then the other side is this one. Make the top of the eye a little curvy. This idea of draw one line on top help us to place the eyes correctly, not one of them go higher and one lower. So this is another eye. And now for the nose. This is like a big triangle shape. Here is a big triangle shape. We already have this bottom part of the mouth. The nose is placed on this big triangle shape, and we already draw one line in angle. So I try to make a nice and C-curve on top. For top of the nose, even the shape of nose is look like a little bit like a triangle, but very gentle C-curve around the edge. And then connect them together. This line separate into half, and then the whole is visible like this way and that way. I can make dark the whole. And yeah, we are done for our drawing. Okay, now we finished the whole shape of our dog, whole body, and then the features of the face. And now I would like to go through all these details that we see, like nice and liney hair that make the skin tone of our dog. You see here, it's really, when I make it bigger, just a lots of line close together. So you can follow the same with just a pencil. You don't have to move on in on Micron pen, but I will do with Micron pen because it's more visible on a camera. So I choose the smaller one, and I'm going to start with one side. Like I choose this ear, for example, or maybe this ear. I can do outlining a little bit, or just keep the pencil line. I just go to cover it a little bit because later I would like to erase the pencil line. So because of that, I go a little outlining that. And then separate this darkness. I try to start for one side, draw one, lots of line close together, Even this line can be in a curve. It doesn't need to be straight. Like that. Like this, or even let me bring the camera closer. That's easier to see. This close line beside each other make the ear more nice. And so far I'm going to add this tiny line close together like this, totally close together. Just a small and short line on the edge of the ear. Even you can see white in between, white of the paper in between. Doesn't need to cover and make it dark everywhere. And then I give some space from this side. I try to keep this part of the paper white as a shine, and all this tiny line is make the shadow on the ear. So, and then move on like longer line. And all is in angle. You can come down and then back with more line to cover the empty part in between. Make sure not to add lots of pressure in your hand. And the tip of the pencil, it's better to be pointy, not to make a really shadow. The pointy tip give you more lining. Because of that I use Micron pen, because the tip is so pointy. And for this one, I keep some part a little bit white. Here is just white, so I go with the shadow on the other side. And if you see, I just go with like line close together, straight. Even I try to come like a curve to make it look like that, and bring it closer to the other side. The angle of the line doesn't matter. It can be straight, it can be curved, it can touch each other. So feel free to do your own creativity and make your doggy face and ear a little bit more colorful. Not colorful, more covered by tone. And even come down a little. For example, when I come down, I do one side and then a little bit on the other side to fill in between. And one more shorter line on the bottom of the ear. I would like to make it darker, so again, come in between to cover it. I can go with another angle like that. So feel free to play with your line and make the doggy beautiful and more tone. Add more tone on it, even on the edge. For the edge of the ear, I would like to go like in angle, in nice angle. And connect to this part. This style of painting needs a little more patience, but it's so enjoyable. Now the first layer of most of the part is covered for the ear. I want to add more shadow on it. Some part which has a little bit more darkness it has. So I can turn even the paper to go with another angle. Straight and short line. I try to add more pressure of this line on top here. When you add more pressure, already get darker and give you the shadow. Like here. Keep more shadow on it with so tiny line, and then come here. I'm not focused in one angle. I just like it can be different angle. Actually, it can be straight, it can be curved, it can be make like plus. Any angle, it's fine. Just make the second layer to make it darker. And even for here, I want to make it darker. Any part, if you want to make a little on shadow, you need to add second layer of tone. The angle doesn't matter. Any kind of line you want, please bring on top. This is a little darker too. That, and then here. Shorter line for the bottom of ear. And now I'm happy with the ear. One of them. So for the light part, I keep white of the paper. For the first stone, I add everywhere short line, section by section. For the second layer, if I want to add a little bit more shadow and darkness, I apply for the second layer, and then in different angle, I make the line. So that's about the ear. Now we can cover the eye and move on the face, or we can start to work on the other ear. Maybe it's easier to go with the other ear because we already know about the ear, how it works. So just a little bit outlining it. If you work with the pencil, you don't need this outline. Now again, it's short line for the first layer. I can turn the paper like that. I would like to have long line like this everywhere. Like this. Even turn. I would like to keep this side a little bit white of the paper. But for the other it's fine to move on with the long line. Like that even. Then you want to bring the shadow close to the white side of the paper a little bit. Keep more empty part in between the line. These are another short line. And randomly some more here. Now it has a tone. I would like to break it into different sections and make this shadow on top. So again, I turn to make the smaller line. Tiny, tiny in the other angle to make it dark. Okay, so if I want to start the next part, which is the eye part, so we are going to start the eye. First of all, I choose the darker color. I prefer to go with the a little bit bigger and darker Micron pen, like number 8, number 6, 7, or even if you have 5 would be fine. And I try to shape the top of the eye and then the pupil with this dark color, and then around it a little bit by just a tiny narrow line. But for around the eye and the face, I prefer to do the narrow line with a smaller brush stroke, or sorry, I mean the smaller Micron pen, or even the what we call, or even the light pencil, but the pointy pencil. Same technique happen for both eyes, and we do for both of them. Try to make a nice and tiny circle as a shine inside each eye, and then cover whole the pupil with the dark color of black, and then around it. But the bottom of part of the eye is better not to cover it a lot, just leave it. And then we add the face more with the tone and the hair color of actually animal hair. Now for next part, we can start the face, but I prefer, because we already do the dark color, I prefer to do for actually the nose. And I start from the top part, try to make some darkness on top, and when we cover it, then we can move down, keep the white on top of the nose. Actually that white shine part is just part of the paper, so we can leave that. And then I'm going to add more tone on the darkness of the nose and make it as much as I can dark and dark. And make sure don't bother yourself with the line that you would like to add. Actually it can be straight, it can be in angle, it can be curvy, and just make it dark and use a nice and tiny dark line beside each other. And even feel free to do hashing or cross hashing and cover and fill inside more. If you just pass, you can back again and fill all the part of the paper to make it dark and shape the nose more accurate. And even we can do more darkness on the hole and make the nose more interesting. Okay, now we would like to after finish our actually eyes, we move on around the eyes, so a little bit make dark the white part of the eye as well, and then we move forward to adding a tone around the eye, and then from left side and then move to the right side and follow just a small like a tiny line. And we can use hashing, we can use cross hashing, we can use a curvy line on top or in angle line, all to make the dog more close to finish the face look like the real dog. So we'll do like that. And for face I prefer to use smaller pen like number 2 or 3, because I think the tip is more smaller and easier to make the tiny line around the face. But I use the bigger size like number 5, 6, 8, something like that for inside the eye, which is darker. Now we move on toward the top, to the forehead to finish that, and then move on for the bottom part, which is which under the eye, and try to finish that as well. Everywhere which is dark, we can follow and add more layers on it. Okay, now we move on, we continue. We can turn the paper anytime that it's more comfortable for us. So try to turn the paper in a way that it's easier to follow. We can draw a narrow line on top of the head and make it curvy. Because of that I turn the paper, that make my hand easily to move. And even we can bring it back when we go further and when we move towards the center more. So we continue to finish the face. We finished the top part, and I try to add more like a pen stroke to make it more busy a little bit. Some part a little darker, some part lighter. But when you work on your piece, it's okay to use all the line that we have, like angle line, like straight, cross hashing, hashing. And all are really lovely to make the drawing more beautiful. Okay, when we move on further, we can start bring the pen down and start the bottom of the face on the left side. We finish the top, not exactly finished, we can bring back and add more layers and add more line on top, but now it's okay. I'm coming down for the bottom of the face under the eye. and try to add one like a small line for the first layer, so as the same that we did for in actually ears. We try to add one tone on a face with a small brush, not a brush actually, small tiny pencil line or micron pen line, and then it's one layer and with one tone. Then you can check any part which is darker, you can bring back with more layer, with more tiny line, or you can just go with cross hashing and then make it more dark and beautiful. But so far we follow just one value, and then on top we'll fix the values and try to make it darker and darker. Now we move on. More work is the same as the other part. It's just we go with one layer, same as painting. The first layer is just a narrow tiny line with the even you can see the some part of the paper because there is empty part in between. But if you want to make it dark, you can back on that empty part, fill in between. You can go with the same angle that you draw the line, or cross hashing. I use the curve line, use any kind of line that feel comfortable. And even we can turn the paper on a way that it's comfortable for our hand to make a beautiful artwork. So I move on closer to the mouth and nose, and then I back for the top and add some more details on top. It's like a back and forth, so anytime you can come up, add more line on top, and then come down and add more line there. So we try our best to fix our dark face with this beautiful material. So the edge of the face is a little darker, so I'm going to add a little darker tone. I back and forth and add more tiny line as a stroke. And even inside the face we have a little bit darker, so I follow that to make the face darker. Even just one thing, if it's not easy for you to make a small line as a face or something, and if you're interested to learn this kind of painting, you can just use the pencil, cover whole the face with one value, which is lovely. It's very light and loose, and then on top add the red color. Sorry, it's not the red color, I mean the black one. You can do that. Even you can go with the just like back and forth, cover everything, and then for the second layer, which is darker, you can go with small line close together and make it as dark as you interested for. Even I mentioned about the color, I go with black and white, so I use black Micron pen, but you can do it with pencil. You can do it with colorful Micron pen, with any color you like. You can make the brown dog, you can make actually the any color of dog, black and white, or even brown dog, even creamy color. It depends, any kind of color you are interested, you can follow. And yeah, I move on. Little by little we can, after we finish the left side, we can move on to the right side, and the same technique happen on the right side. We can start with the top of the eye, add a little bit tone there and make it more interesting for ourselves. Actually, we know that about the tiny line, so we can cover one side of the face with just a pencil, so loose and light, and then add the tiny pencil line or micron pen line as a second layer for making dark. Try not to overwork on it, because sometimes it happens when we work a lot on the line, we forget that this is just a line and it's supposed to be very light and loose. So we just go on back and make it as dark as possible. Yeah, around the eyes, and then come down. So the same technique happen everywhere. We move on, follow, just we can turn the paper on a way which is easier for us, and finish the mouth and the right side of face. Then we can move on to work on a chest which is supposed to be white and the darkness around it. Okay, now I'm going to start adding a little bit tone around the chest. So we finished with the face. The face is done by adding with a line, longer line as a base, and then a shorter line for making on top a little bit darker. And we finish the left and right side of the face. Anywhere that need to be darker, we add the second time the shorter line, and then any part that it doesn't need, so we just leave the first layer or even some part as a paper. Now the same happen for the body, for the chest. And if you see, the chest is white, so we just need to mention about some like movement of the pencil, of the pen or pencil, to show that this is the fairy hair of animal, or the hair of a dog, this kind of specific dog. So because of that, very less we work on the chest, and then a little bit darker on both sides of the chest to show that these are darker than the center. I can show you the step that I go. So now everything is okay. Now it's the darker. But when you make some part darker and the top part is lighter, it shows that it's come out and shows the light part is on top. And this happen on the part that ear is covered the left side of the hand. I do darker the left side of the hand, and then the ear come up, that it shows the light part is on top, and the darkness, the shadow part, move a little bit further. So we can use the same line, like straight, flat, or even curved line, with hashing, cross hashing, or angle line to cover and make the hands and the chest a little bit light or darker. So this is kind of drawing with the line, but if you're interested to have drawing with just a tone, you can add the base with one value, cover everything. For the part that is white, you can leave the paper white, and then for the darkness, back to the darker tone and add some more brush stroke to make the dog look like the real one. But if you want to use the line, even the base is just a line. The base is just small and short line, and then make it bigger again. With the layers, we can make the base and then add the darker tone of the pencil on top to be visible and even enjoyable. Yeah, great. I think everything is done. We can call our painting finished. And this is the line. You can see closer, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, hope to see you next time, and I hope you enjoy this painting, this drawing. Thank you so much. Bye for now.